So Syed from Qatar writes in and asks, Bruce, I would love to see a comparison between the Breitling Superocean Heritage 2 and the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra 41. Both have good water resistance. Can you compare the two in terms of price, movement, styling, etc.? So yes, absolutely, Syed, I'd be happy to do that. You've picked two of my favorite models from two of my favorite brands. And although one is not a traditional dive watch with a dive bezel, I do think that they stack up pretty well against each other. So I'll talk about some specifics. I will declare a winner between the two. And those of you watching this, you'll need to let me know if you agree or disagree with my appraisal and what specifically you would change. So let's start with some basic comparables. We will start with the price and the movement. So the Breitling, this one is $5,200 or $5,550 on the mesh. So roughly about $1,000 less than the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra. This one will have a Kinesi-made movement called the caliber B20 or Breitling 20. This is chronometer certified. This has a 4 Hz beat frequency, 28 joules, and a very nice 70-hour power reserve. Now, I did own this exact movement in the Superocean Heritage 244 a couple years ago, and I did have my watchmaker open up that specific watch. And I can confirm that there is no silicone hairspring, but there is a very nice finish, a very tasteful finish in the movement, and we do have a free-sprung balance, although you will not be able to see this B20 through a stainless steel closed case back. Now let's compare and contrast that to the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra. This one is $6,000 on the rubber strap or $6,300 on the bracelet, an 8,900 coaxial tri-level escapement movement within that, as opposed to the Breitling, which is chronometer certified. This one is METUS certified. It has a slightly lower beat rate, it has a higher joule count, and it has a lower power reserve of 60 hours. This one does have a free sprung balance, and it does have a silicone hairspring. You will be able to view the movement through an open case back, and this does come with the jumping time zone hour feature, which is my personal favorite. This, along with the True GMT, they essentially operate the same. This is my favorite of the common or the more practical complications. So looking at this, I would give the advantage to Breitling just in terms of the price. And then if you're looking on the pre-owned market, you can find very good pricing when it comes to the Superocean Heritage 2. But when it comes to the movement, I would give the advantage to the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra. I like the fact that I can view it. I like the arabesque finishing. I like the silicone hairspring. I like the METUS certified movement, and I absolutely love the jumping time zone hour feature. So again, advantage price Breitling, advantage movement Omega. Let's move to some more subjective elements. So talking about the styling and talking about the fit, the Breitling is definitely larger if you go for the smaller size. So that is 42 millimeters. This also comes in 44. It also comes in 46. And it will have an all polish finish with very nice use of gloss ceramics, a nice sunray dial or sunburst dial with rhodium plated applied markers, and a nice, long, generously proportioned handset. I especially like this on the mesh bracelet, and when you have just the mix of the polish, the sunray, the ceramic, and the mesh, this naturally attracts the eye. So I do think this has, some definite presence to it, and I also enjoy the range of size options, color options, strap options, and complication options. Now, comparing that to the Omega, this one is definitely more understated. This is thinner on the wrist, and this is definitely more versatile, at least in my opinion. The watches both have excellent anti-reflective coated sapphire crystals, but the Omega has a more intricate dial. You can tell when it comes to the detail work. This is noticeable on a macro level. So I'm talking about the finish work, the plating, the printing, just the general execution. This is a small step, but it is a noticeable step above the Breitling in my experience and under my macro lens. Now with styling, it is subjective, but I would say the Breitling wins the advantage here just with how much your eye is drawn to the specific dive watch. I love the fit, I love the versatility, but I think that nod would go to the Omega. It does have a wider appeal in my opinion. So if you have large wrists, I think that the Aqua Terra may feel too small and you would enjoy the Breitling, because when it comes to the Aqua Terra, the only larger size is a 43 millimeter option, but that's only found with the world time variation, which is quite a bit more at retail price. Now let's go to the loom. Let's go to the tactile elements. I think the Omega has a nicer loom application. There is more surface area here on the hands and markers. I'll give the advantage to the Omega Aqua Terra. The Breitling has a very nice bezel, good bezel action. It has a better deployant clasp on the rubber variation, and it does have a more adjustable clasp on the tapering mesh bracelet when you compare it to the oyster style bracelet with the butterfly deployant found on the Omega. That also does have the PCLs. I know some watch collectors love the look of PCLs, and other watch collectors just do not care for that type of finish work. So I would give the advantage on straps and bracelets to Breitling, and I'll give the again the advantage to the loom to the Omega. Now let's wrap up with some brand history and public perception. I see that kind of as a toss-up. I see both as luxury Swiss brands with pretty similar price structuring. Some models are more prestigious. Some models have more value when it comes to both brands, and some of the models have longer running or cooler history. But I would say, if we're speaking in generalities, Omega is currently more popular, at least in watch collector circles, and Breitling, in my opinion, has the slightly larger brand recognition amongst non-watch collectors. So when it comes to these models, the Superocean Heritage 2, it pays excellent homage to the original Superocean from 1957, and the Aqua Terra is a relatively young design. So in summarization, the Omega wins out when it comes to the movement, when it comes to the details on the dial, the loom, the versatility. I do think there's a nice amount of color and size options, only if you're looking sub 41 millimeters. But the Breitling will win in terms of presence, in terms of power reserve, price, and strap quality. I think the model has longer running name history and is better suited to those that have larger wrists. But on the whole, I would say that the Aqua Terra is the nicer watch. So I will declare the Aqua Terra the winner here, though it should be the winner because it costs about $1,000 more at retail than the Breitling does. Now, I don't think the Superocean Heritage 2 has quite as much general appeal, but it really appeals to me. And if I were spending my own money, Syed, I would definitely buy the Breitling, and I would lean to the 42 millimeter variation with the sunburst green dial on the rubber strap, and I would likely also want to add the mesh bracelet as well, possibly at a later date. So I appreciate the question. I hope you felt that I've answered you thoroughly. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if I've gotten anything wrong here. Please like, please subscribe for more watch content just like this.